Music.
How many of you all tried to look at the Course in Miracles and you told yourself it was difficult to do or difficult to read or difficult to understand? Anybody?
Yeah. Me.
All right. Now, the reason why that's probably happening is because you may be trying to learn it the way you learned other things.
Yeah.
That you're using the same approach to it that you used when you were trying to learn other things. And I had the same problem with the Course until I realized that the Course in Miracles, it doesn't do anything like other books. It's like everything about it is completely different. In other learnings, it's easy. And the fact that it's very easy is what makes it very hard.
Yeah.
It's a learning that doesn't require you to believe it. It's a learning that doesn't require you to accept it. Now, I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. It doesn't require you to believe it. Some of the stuff it says is going to be startling, and some of the stuff that it says is going to be hard to believe. Everybody with me on that one?
Yeah.
That means that it's not going to say the stuff that I learned. It's not going to talk to me according to what the world taught me to believe. It's not going to say what I heard when I grew up. It's not going to validate my perceptions of things. It's like it began to hit me. It's like, oh, I'm trying to fit the Course in Miracles into my thought system in the way that I already believe, and trying to get it to work in the way that I already believe. And it says that, and the biggest part of it was it said that you are not asked to judge it, which the Course defines as analyzing it. It's like nobody's asking us to analyze this. And one of the things I notice often when I go to Course in Miracles gatherings around the world is that there's a tendency for people to constantly analyze the Course and then debate with each other about what their interpretation of the Course in Miracles means. Mm-hmm. First of all, you don't need anybody else to study the Course in Miracles. You don't need me, you don't need no other teachers, you don't need anybody. It's not set up that you have to go through anybody else in order to learn the Course. Because the Holy Spirit inside of you is perfectly capable of guiding you through the learning of the Course in Miracles if that's what you want. It says in the Course in Miracles that the purpose of a relationship is to save you time. I've used relationships to slow me down a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but in my past, there have been times when my life was pretty much sailing pretty smooth until I got into a relationship. Really. It's like either relationship is something that really speeds you along, or it's something that really slows you way, 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 way down. And the Course says that the purpose of a relationship is to save time. So the fact that I've studied this and taught this for 30 years, what I can do is save you some time. Is everybody cool about that? Like if you already know how to cook a chocolate cake, and I don't know how to cook a chocolate cake, I could use the cookbook, and that would be great. But because you already cooked one, you probably could save me some time when I get ready to put some Ajax in it, as opposed to flour. It's like teachers save you time, relationships are supposed to save you time. So every time you get in a relationship, it's supposed to be saving you time. So that's what I would like for your relationship with me to do. I like for it to save you time. So that's what I'm trying to share with the Course. So what I'm going to be doing more than ever before in my Course in Miracles classes is try to be of service the most to people who are studying it, who are reading it, who want some help with how to do that, and be also very helpful to people who are not reading it and they don't see that as being their path. But I want to be especially helpful to people who are trying to read it, because I read it over 100 times. I could probably give you some tips about how to read it that will make you go ahead and actually do it, because in your heart you really do want to do it.
Yeah.
So as I go through it, I'll give you some tips. Like right now we're on the development of trust, and the development of trust is on page 10 in the teacher's manual. There's 3 books in the Course in Miracles. There's a text, which is the theoretical new thought system, and then there's a workbook, and the purpose of the workbook is to make all the ideas in the Course practical. So the workbook is what makes you be able to apply the course in the world. The workbook is what tells you what to do to apply the course in the world. Did I say the workbook was what helped you recognize what you want to apply the course? The reason I keep doing that, because part of my doing this is I know that my ego tries to trick me into not hearing. So a question hooks the mind. And so I'm gonna dive in with you and keep engaging you, because I know that the part of us that doesn't want to change will try to distract us from listening to what I'm saying. I bet you right now, everything and anything can distract you. I bet you Judy coming in, it's like, I see everybody watching Judy. You know what I'm saying? It's like our mind loves to focus in on anything it can see as a distraction, because it keeps us from hearing the truth. And I want to tell you, there's a part of your mind that doesn't want you to hear the truth. There's a part of your mind that doesn't want you to be loved. There's a part of your mind that wants to keep things going the way they've always gone. There's a part of your mind that doesn't like you very much. There's a part of your mind that likes to keep you going through drama and crap and unhappiness all the time. And there's a larger part of your mind that wants you to have peace. There's a larger part of your mind that wants you to have love. There's a larger part of your mind that wants you to know God and truth and abundance. But that part is not the part that's used the most. That's the part that's brought us here, and that's the part that's going to talk to us today. Is that cool?
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
cool.
So if you're ever going to be free, you have to develop trust and a power greater than yourself. If you're ever going to be free, you have to develop a trust and a power greater than your small self that's sitting in the chair. If you're going to be free, you have to develop a trust in something greater than your ability to figure things out. So that's called the development of trust, or like I like to call it DOT. You got to start to have a relationship with Dot.
You got to have Dot.
Dot's pretty loose. She'll pretty much give herself to anybody that wants her. And Dot is happiest when you pass her around.
Right.
That's the development of trust. So, the first stage you're going to go through when you develop trust, he says, is called a period of undoing. It doesn't have to be painful. This first period that you're going to go through, it doesn't have to be painful, but people usually experience it as painful. Why does the first stage of developing trust seem to be painful? It seems to be painful because it's going to look like things are being taken away. It's going to look like things are being taken away. The first stage is going to look like things are being taken away. When you first start developing trust, it's going to look like things are being taken away, but what's happening is that you are finally recognizing their lack of value. So people who mistreat you in your perception will be taken away. Lack will be taken away. Pain will be taken away. Guilt will be taken away. Anything that you're using to distract yourself from your happiness and love will be taken away. It is always something in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, first stage is what kind of stage? Taking away. Why is it taken away? Because you don't see the value in it that you used to see in it. I don't see the value in relationships that I'm constantly arguing and debating with someone anymore. I don't see the value in me not being able to pay my rent. I don't see the value in me not having fun. I don't see the value in believing what the world teaches. I don't see the value in believing that I'm a victim. I don't see the value in thinking that I'm not the child of God. See, what happens in the beginning, when you no longer value not loving yourself, everything that causes you pain will be removed. When you value not hurting yourself, everything that causes you pain will be removed from your mind. Did I say that when you no longer wanted to hurt yourself, everything that causes you pain will be taken away from your mind?
I think that's what you said.
Okay, so the only way you could no longer see something as pain not having any value for you, or unhappiness not having any value for you, it says that you must be seeing things in a different light. Everything I'm saying is in the first paragraph. I'm just saying it like a conversation because I've been doing it so long. But I'm really saying what's on the page. It just sounds like I'm having a conversation with you. Because the course is supposed to be looked at like it's a conversation and not like it's an academic book that you're in college studying. It's a conversation. It says it's a conversation with Jesus, trying to share the truth of what he taught, as opposed to the stuff that caused fear and conflict and all the crazy stuff that we see in the world. It's like someone trying to correct a rumor about them and kind of tell you what's really going on. Do you need to believe that? Nah. So because it already told us we didn't need to believe any of it. I used to spend so much time worried about where it came from. And I started using it, and I noticed that it worked, and it got to the point I didn't care if it came from, Barbie. I don't care anymore. It's like the form isn't important to me. What's important is the content that's going to change my mind. So now, some of us kind of mess around and we don't change from the inside. He says he is not yet at a point at which he can make the shift entirely internally. So if you find that you cannot shift your thinking internally, have you noticed that there's some of this stuff that no matter what, you just still keep having the same pattern? Yeah. Hello? Y'all with me? Okay. Yeah. Then if you're the kind of person that whatever area it is that you can't shift internally, it says the plan will sometimes call for changes in what seem to be external circumstances. So if you won't change on the inside, then there's something on the outside that's going to get you to change. Ooh. If you won't find the change on the inside, there will be some circumstance external to you that will get you to make the shift internally. So cool. In other words, you can have a relationship that's so intense for you that you'll change your mind about them. You can have a financial situation that's so intense, you'll change your mind about the way you do money. You can have a health situation that's so intense, you'll say, I got to change my mind about how I feel about my body. We've all had the experience of external circumstances making us go ahead and get off our butt and do what we need to do. Is that right? Right. So that's the part of the plan. That's what they're just telling us. That's part of the plan. If you won't make the shift internally, there will be some circumstances that will cause you to change. That little thing you're crinkling, that's going to be on it. Thank you. Cameras are funny. They pick up everything but your voice. It'll be a tape of okay. So what's going to happen if you don't shift on the inside?
Shift on the outside.
Yeah, something's going to cause you to shift from the outside. Okay. Now, how am I supposed to look at the thing that happens? And let's say I've been on a crappy job for years, and I keep saying I need to be doing something different, and I hate going to work every day, and then I go in, and then they lay me off. And then I feel devastated, but I don't realize I've been bitching and complaining every day that I've been coming for the last 6 years, saying I didn't want to be there. The universe says, okay, bye. Poof, you're out of there. Now, the truth is, that was an external change that made a shift on the inside, because now you have a chance to actually go ahead and maybe try to do the thing you really want to do in your life, and one door never shuts without another door opening. It's impossible that things not get better. So, do you have to believe that?
No.
No. As a matter of fact, isn't it easier to hear it if you don't have to believe it?
Yeah.
Isn't it good to know that there are things that could happen to you that don't have anything to do with whether or not you believe it?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I don't care what you think about me right now. I want the best for you, and I feel good about you, and I want to love you, and I want to care about you, and who you really are. Now, whether you believe that or not, it has nothing to do with the truth of it. So anything that's true, your belief actually has nothing to do with it. Anything that is not true, you have to believe it first. So belief is really the ego. If it's true, it's true anyway. If it's something that's only true if you believe it, it's not true.
Yeah.
If it's only true if you believe it, it's not true. It's true if it's true whether you believe it or not. Whether you believe I'm Earl Purdy or not, I'm Earl Purdy. But for you to communicate with me as Earl Purdy, you have to believe I'm Earl Purdy. So it's your belief that determines your perception. But the truth is beyond your perception. Okay. I could love you and you not see it. That's the truth. That's beyond your perception. Now, whether you see it or not is based on your perception. And your perception is based on your belief. So I could love you, but unless you believe it, you won't see it. Because your belief is between you and me and you. So I never see her, I see my beliefs about her, then her. She never sees me, she sees her beliefs about me, then she sees me. We never see each other, we only see our beliefs. And the truth of who we are is just on the other side of our perception, which is our belief. Who I really am is just on the other side of who you're telling yourself I am right now. You get what I'm saying? You probably have family members who still see you as the person that they lived with 20 years ago. It's like you're frozen in time, and they are too. It's amazing. I'm 60 years old, and I could go home and I still turn into a little man
Yep.
next to the youngest. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how they see me. You know, so there's me, who is an entirely different being that they probably would be completely shocked to know who I am, and then who loves them, and so therefore it's okay. Because I'm just there to love them. If I had some other purpose, then I could get caught up about how I'm seen. But once you become clear of what your purpose is in every situation, you know how to behave in every situation, so you no longer have to figure out what you're going to do when you go into a situation. Like, I don't figure out what I'm going to do when I go to a meeting or when I go to a movie or when I go to a party. I got the same purpose in every situation I go into. I want to give and receive love. I want to be as loving as I can to everybody around me, see how much I can join, connect, and wake up, see them as innocent and as holy children of God. That's my purpose. Whether I'm in a nightclub or whether I'm in the library. So I'm not figuring out how to be with people. I had a dilemma with different relationships that I was thinking about in my life just the other day, and it hit me. It's like, wait a minute, there's nothing to figure out here. You're just gonna love everybody.
Right.
One of the biggest things that I go through in special love relationships is that I study all these books that teach that you should love everybody and everybody's a part of you, and that love includes everything and everybody, and that God is that love that includes everything and everybody, and I'm counting on being included in that love and that it's equal for all of us. And I'm told that that's what love is, and that there are awesome, beautiful qualities in each and every one of us to love. I see those qualities, and so therefore I refuse to only love one person, and that's caused me more challenges in relationships than I could possibly tell you, as long as I can remember, in special relationships. It's when I say I love you and I'm going to love other people too, that does not jive with special love relationships. No. All I'm saying is I want to live what I'm studying. I want to live what I'm reading. I want to live what all New Age, New Thoughts, higher consciousness people are studying. We're one. We should love each other. Love is inclusive. Try doing that in your day-to-day reality, in relationships, and watch how much resistance comes up from everybody around you. And almost seen as if somehow your love is not real because you could love someone else also. Like that dimension, like if I tell somebody I love them, one of the biggest retorts that I get a lot is, oh, you tell everybody that. Well, that's why you can believe it. I don't believe anything anybody tell me that only applies to me only. By definition of it only applying to me only, it cannot be real. Anything that's real includes everybody. Anything that's not real is just exclusive. Now, can you use something exclusive to go to something universal? Exactly right. That's why we, just like the Course said, if you can just treat one person right, that'll be a start. So that's great you have a special love relationship, because now you just singled out who it is you're supposed to practice this on the most. And I guarantee you they're going to give you an opportunity to do it. And this is going to be anything you see as special, not just a person, your car, your money, your house, I don't care what it is. Fame, fortune. Listen to me now. I'm telling you. So what happens with me is I know I'm always meeting incredible, wonderful, beautiful people who are unique and nothing like each other. So trying to compare anybody in my life is trying to compare apples to oranges. So my love is inclusive, but does that make my love less real? And is there any competition? And is there anybody lacking anything? No. Because nobody I know is like anybody else that I know. So it's not about who you love more, who you love less, who's more important, who's not important. The reason why my friends can feel innocent if they don't call me, don't see me, don't visit me, or don't come around me is because my life is so full of love that it's okay for them to be doing what's more important for them in that moment. Because whatever they're doing that has nothing to do with me, obviously it's the thing that they want to do the most right now. So what they need to be able to do is have their experience and not feel guilty because they didn't call me. Because the more you exclude love, the more you exclude love, the more pressure you put on any one person to fulfill all your needs, and you end up hating them and resenting them because nobody can do it. The more love you have out there, the more you can release people and let them be, because you're not lacking anything. Love is coming at you even when they're doing their thing or whatever they're doing. So therefore, they don't have to feel guilty about what they're doing, because they know you're not upset because they're doing in the moment what they need to do and what would be loving to them. But if you're in a special relationship of any kind and you say, I'm going to love everybody, I want to be able to be completely spontaneous in the moment. I don't know what kind of experience I'm going to have for the rest of my life. I can't promise anybody what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I never tell a person, I'm never going to do anything with anybody else but you. I don't know what I'm going to do. Why should I set myself up like that? And then why should I be with somebody that's so concerned about it that they take their love away from me anyway? Couldn't be love in the first place. Must be specialness. So at some point on the spiritual path, you make a choice about whether you want love or whether you want specialness. And that's where I'm at in my own personal development, where I'm having to make the decision for love. Because I want what I can depend on and what never leaves. I'm sick of that stuff that's based on how I act and what I do. You know, you can have it. That's a damn a dozen. I was talking to somebody just the other day, and whenever I hear anybody in the world say they wish they had a relationship, but there wasn't anybody out there for them to have a relationship with, it always blows my mind. Because I'm in a world where people value exclusive, focusing on one-on-one love to the exclusion of anybody else, where that person is your primary focus and you're their primary focus. That is what this world's thought system is about. So there are millions and millions of men and women out there wanting to have a relationship with someone that they're the number one person in that relationship and that person focuses all their attention on them. If you're a person that wants that, you are in heaven. You're in a whole world that everybody thinks that it's normal for love to be exclusive and limited and separate. So there's no excuse for you not having a relationship if you say you want one when everybody wants the same thing you say you want. But say you're a person who believes that love is freedom, that you believe love is you being able to be what you want to be, do what you want to do, have control of my own body. What I want to do with my body is up to me. It has nothing to do with me getting anybody else's approval about what it is. I always feel like if people have that much to do with what's going on in my life, they need to be feeding me, they need to be paying my rent, they need to be doing something. If you want to have that kind of influence over what I do, you should be really stepping up and bringing something to the table. That's the way I see it. You know, so when I started to realize that the lack of, that the thing that I didn't value anymore was going to be taken away, then special relationships based on guilt and fear and control and possession and insecurity, those relationships started to end in my life. They started to leave my life. Even if I wanted to keep the person in my life, I couldn't. Because we became too different in our desires for peace to still be around each other. So it became, at first, then when you make the shift, like you said, it looks like things are being taken away. All of a sudden, it looks like the people that you used to be around, you're not around them anymore. The people that used to come to the class, you don't see them anymore. You know, the people in my life changed so fast that I can't even describe to you all. If anybody's been here for more than 3 months, you know exactly what I'm saying. There's so many people that come through this door that never come back, you wouldn't believe. Because I have a flow-through ministry. People flow through. That's what they do. That's what. It's not an accumulation expansion ministry. It's always flow through. So my whole life has been about learning how to love people and release them. 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 And they're all really, really cool. They're all really, really cool. And I used to try to hang on to them. I used to try to remember everybody's names. You God. That I can remember that. You know, I see people I saw one time 6 months ago, and I run into them somewhere, and they'll be like freaked out that I don't remember their name. I bet you don't guess who I bet you can't guess who I am. You know, it's like, you're right. I can't. I saw you once 8 months ago. You know, but the point that I'm making is that to get into real love, you have to get into a thought system that is somehow based on innocence and guiltlessness. You cannot experience real love and be a person that's continually trying to manipulate other people through guilt. It just ain't gonna work. It's because people who love themselves won't stand for it. I'll say it. People who love themselves will not stand for the stuff that people who don't love themselves try to put on them. They just won't. They just won't. They can't. They want you to be happy, they want you to have it the way you want to have it, but they love themselves enough to say, this doesn't work for me, so I'm going to choose out of it, and you can keep being exactly the way you are. Evidently, it serves some purpose for you. You have a right to be that way. I want you to be in complete peace being the way you are. But I'm moving. Hold up, Chris. Hold up. Hold up.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So when you begin to learn what's really valuable and you really start loving yourself, then everything that's not kind to you, not loving to you, does not treat you right, will lead your life even if you don't want them to. You'll be trying to cling on to them. The part of you that doesn't love you always is attracted to whoever's not available. That's how you can always tell whether it's your spirit, your soulmate. Your soulmate will never be unavailable.
Thank you.
Your soulmate will never be unavailable. Your soulmate will never be unavailable. Your soulmate will, did I say your soulmate will never be?
Yes, you did. Unavailable.
If it's real love, it will not be unavailable. If it's specialness, it may not be available. Because they may not feel, you might not be special to them. Like they're special to you. But ask yourself, am I attracted to this person or this situation simply because they're not available? Is that what makes them different? Maybe everybody else is available to me. So wherever in your life right now that you think you're wanting something that's unavailable, that's the area of your life that your ego is in charge of. If you want to know what part of your life your higher self is in charge of, what part of your life you're still in charge of, it's any area you're not satisfied in, that's the area you're still in charge of. Where is in your life that is working and it seems like it's really cool and it seems like it's really going right, that's the area that you're letting love lead. So I got certain areas in my life always seem to go easy, and then I got certain areas in my life that always seem to be the ones that present the challenge. So I know the area of my life that I'm still trying to do it my way. That's the area that's not working. So that way you can tell whether or not you've given it to God or not. Where's the area you haven't given to God? It's the area you see is not working. I don't care how much you say it. Beware, truth students. We can read and we can speak. So we're very good at saying stuff we don't practice.
That's for sure.
We're great at saying stuff we don't practice. Oh, I know God's in charge. I've given it to God. I can say that just like that. Have I done it? Not where I'm not peaceful. So I'm saying to you that everything that causes you pain is going to be taken away. The pain's going to be taken away.
All right.
And if you won't go ahead and treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated, the plan is going to call for some external circumstance to happen to you that's going to make you treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated. And how do you deal with the external change when it shows up? He says when you do have this external thing happen that blows you away, you did lose that job, or you did have to change that relationship, or whatever it was that came up for you. He says, this is what you say if you want to go through it easily. You say, these changes are always helpful. 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 I got laid off. This change was helpful.
Yeah.
I just had a relationship shift. Oh, that change was helpful. I had to leave town. That change was helpful. The only way we're going to get past that stuff that's coming up to change us is you got to declare that everything that's going on in your life right now is for your own best interest, even if you don't know how. Everything that's happening in your life right now is for your own best interest, even if you don't know how. Everything that's happening in your life right now is for your own best interest, even if you don't know how. Everything you're going through in your life right now is for your own best interest, even if you don't know how. The changes are always helpful. That relationship ending was helpful. That relationship beginning was helpful. That relationship ending was helpful. That relationship beginning was helpful. That sickness was helpful. That health situation was helpful. Every single, did I say every single? Every single solitary thing that you're going through in your life right now is helping you. Everything you're going through right there. If you went to the doctor today and the doctor said you're going to be dead in 2 weeks, you're supposed to say this change is very helpful. I can't wait to die. Now, am I on a level of consciousness that I can say that? No. Will I one day be on a level of consciousness that I can say that? Yes. Because until I can see all things as helpful, I won't feel any joy in my learning process. Okay, then it says, when the teacher of God has learned that much, how much the changes are always helpful, he says, then you go on to the next stage. So when did I go to the next stage? When I get to the point that I go, I had a flat tire, That was really helpful, because had I not had the flat tire, I would have been at that intersection the same time that Mack truck ran the red light and killed me on this plane. You don't know how many catastrophes you have avoided because of everything that you've done, even the stuff that you didn't like. That being delayed in traffic for 5 minutes might have saved your life. One of the ways you can tell when your spiritual path might be working is that you're bored. Your life is so little going on that you got nerve enough to be bored. So you evidently must have a blessed life. The people in Somalia out in the middle of the desert probably not bored right now. And they chose that, and they can also make a different change, and they're not victims either. And I'll send them a care package the Spirit tells me to, and I'll donate money. But I'm not for a second buying into their poverty and seeing them as weak beings that's victim of everything. Sorry, there's no why. That if I do it, it's helpful, and if I don't do it, it's even more helpful. Because all things are helpful. So we got the first stage. First stage, that's one paragraph for the Course in Miracles. I just covered one frigging paragraph to give you some idea of the power of this book. Just very simple concepts. You're going to have development of trust. And we called her what? Dot. You're going to experience development of trust, which is dot. Okay. The first thing that's going to happen when you're on the way to trust in Spirit to take care of you in every situation and to know the truth in every situation, it's going to look like things are being taken away from you. It's going to seem painful. It doesn't have to be that way, but you're going to probably see it that way. And then it went on to tell us that the reason why it's leaving you is that you no longer value that anymore. You now see things in a different light. And guess what? You can change on the inside. Like what I do right now when I read the Course, it says what you need to do is see somebody attacking you as a call for love. I used to analyze that and debate that. What is it really a call for love? What if they did the... And so I found out over the years that in the end, God wins. In the end, the universe wins over my perception. So I just go ahead and do what it tells me to do now, even if I don't understand, so I can go ahead and get the result. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I didn't understand that I had to get a boarding pass to the person standing at the airport, then I wouldn't get on the plane. So I could argue with them when they say I have to give them a boarding pass to get on the plane. I could just give them the friggin' boarding pass and get on the plane, and then figure out why the rule was there later. But I'd be flying.
Yeah.
We're just the opposite. I'm not going to let myself have love unless you can tell me in a very intellectual way exactly how it is that I deserve to have it that way and why it should be that way and blah, 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 blah. Why? Because I think my understanding is a powerful contribution to the truth that makes it what it is. And so if I don't understand it, it couldn't possibly be true. And so I'm not going to even let myself have the benefit of it until I understand what you're talking about. It's like you run into a starving person. They're hungry, you want to give them a sandwich, and they're going, well, unless you explain to me exactly why you want to bring me that sandwich, should I trust you for giving me that sandwich? And what was your ulterior motive for having that sandwich? And is that a real sandwich? Is that an illusion? And another person's got going, getting fed. It's wild, isn't it? And so the Course says, what should I say if all these changes happen? They're helpful. All changes are 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 helpful. Okay, now Chris, what is your question?
Okay, well, actually it's a comment because I gotta laugh about this, Earl, because when you were saying that when you have a special relationship, that's an opportunity to practice.
Hold up. Remind me to finish my point about what I was saying about my relationships. Will you do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to tell you the other side of this loving everybody thing. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I want to meet other people who want to love everybody.
That's me.
Okay, I really do. I really don't want to. I don't want to date anybody else that doesn't want to love everybody. I don't want to. I want to know where the people in my experience are coming from, because I will not have the kind of people I want in my life until I'm that way, and until I want somebody who wants the same thing I want. You know, but what used to happen for me was that my desire to be free and my desire to have specialness used to both conflict. So there would be a part of me that wanted all this freedom I was talking about, but it also was a part of me that wanted to be number one and wanted to be completely special. So it took the form of me wanting my freedom, but I wanted to have control over the other person. I know none of y'all are aware of that at all. I know none of y'all ever go through interviews wanting to do what you want to do, but then wanting to have some say so about what somebody else does. I know y'all don't understand none of that. Now, those of you who don't mind supporting me and feeling innocent and communicating with you, would you say you also do the same thing? Sometimes you want your freedom and you want to control other people. Will anybody say that? Because what happens when you say stuff like that is that people look at you as if they don't understand what you're talking about. And the truth is, everybody in this room knows what I'm talking about. Everybody in this room knows what it's like to want to change someone else's behavior so that you will be happy. And to anybody in this room will tell me that they have never had that desire, have never attempted to do that, so I can call you a liar to your face with love. Because that's exactly what I want you to do to me when I come up and say some crap like that. So another thing about this cool about beginning to recognize your innocence, then you can say anything and people can say anything to you and you'll be okay, so you finally start having real communication with the people around you. Because it's hard to have real communication with people if all the time you're afraid of hurting their feelings. That's one of the biggest challenges that I go through. I don't want to hurt people's feelings, and so most of the time I don't even tell people what I really think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, it really doesn't matter what I think. So that's why I don't tell them. My opinion of them doesn't really matter. It's none of their business. And why should I share something that's not going to create joining when it really doesn't matter anyway? You know what I'm saying? If I don't like the pants you got on, why should I tell you? What difference does it make whether I like the pants that you have on or not? And it certainly is not going to make us closer. If I told you that was the ugliest pair of pants I've ever seen in my life, and you were feeling really, really good, and you were feeling really, really good. No, you wouldn't. If you really liked those pants, you would not take them off because I said I didn't like them. You would still keep them on. But the point that I'm making is this: do you want to join or do you want to separate? Is that going to create any kind of joining between me and that person to tell them I don't like the way their pants look? Now, if they ask me, they say, I would like you to give me your honest perception of that, you know, then I could still say it in such a way that it wouldn't be painful. You know, those pants don't work for me.
You just want them to take their pants off.
You know, actually, okay, here I'm on the taking pants off issue. I found out that it's easier to just ask for what you want. And then the person will either say yes, or they'll say no, or sometimes in some cases they'll call the police. That's the third way. But that's the other thing that when you study the course and you study the truth for a while, you really begin to understand the simplicity of just asking for what you want and then being okay if you don't get it. Because if you're okay if you don't get it, then it's okay to ask for it. But you should never ask for anything that you invested in the outcome to the point that you give your piece away if it didn't happen. So I tend to not ask people anything until it's really okay if they didn't want to do it anyway. Okay. Because things tend to happen faster when you're not attached to the outcome, but you totally desire it, than it does anything that you're attached to having to the point that you're going to give your piece away. So that's why so there's anything that you're asking for right now that if that thing didn't happen, you would be devastated. It's a good chance it ain't going to happen. Because your attachment to it is a fear of it, and the universe doesn't want to bring you things you are afraid of. So the part of you that doesn't love you will bring the thing you are afraid of to you, though. So what loves you will not bring it to you. What doesn't love you will be on the lookout for the relationship that's wrong, the job that's wrong, the financial opportunity that's wrong. You got to understand the part that doesn't love you is going to give you the thing you don't like. So how do you head that off? You head that off by knowing what's truly valuable. Like I was saying earlier, if I want to only experience relationships that's based on innocence and not guilt, then I have to communicate with the person enough to know that they value freedom as much as I do, truth as much as I do, innocence as much as I do, and we can go to the movie, and we can go to the park, and we can dance, and we can do everything that everybody else in the world does. So I didn't sacrifice anything that anybody's doing in the world. It's just that for the first time I'll be doing that in the context of a relationship that's completely peaceful and unlimiting and safe, that I can't lose.
Yeah.
So I can't have it unless I am it. I'm gonna keep saying it. You can't have it unless you are it. So I had to let go of my desire to control another person in order to have my freedom. In order for me to have my freedom. I had to let go of that. And that only comes from loving everybody, which isn't the same as having sex with everybody. Loving everybody isn't the same as having sex with everybody. Loving everybody is not the same as having sex with everybody. Saying that I want to love everybody is not the same as saying I want to have sex with everybody. I don't want to have sex with everybody. I just want to have sex with who I want to have sex with. That's the right person for me to have sex with. That wants to have it with me at the time I should happen to want to have it. And we both want it at the same time and we feel peaceful about it. That's the kind of sex I want.
There you go.
Okay. And when I didn't want to have it, I'd always want the person that didn't want to give it to me, because that would assure I wouldn't have the thing I was afraid to do anyway. So when you're afraid to do something, you always set it up where you think you want it, but you're being denied it. So whatever you're afraid of is the thing you think you want, but it looks like somebody's just not giving it to you right now. You're just afraid of it because you're a child of God, and anything you decree happens. Anything you focus on, you can have. Anything you accept as true, you will experience. You are an unlimited spiritual being. You're not a person in the world trying to make it, hoping you can influence everybody around you so that they'll treat you right. You're not that. You're not that.
Thank you.
You're not that. Yeah, that's good news, unless there's a payoff in being a victim to you. Unless there's some part of you that wants to keep your story going, then what I just said is not comfortable at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you find yourself strongly attracted to somebody, have a conversation with them. Please. If you want to have peace, if you want to do your relationship different, first of all, if you were attracted to him, that's your first red flag.
No.
Yeah, if you're a person with a history of relationships that always end in some kind of disaster and you're not satisfied and you're unhappy and you've done that over and over again, then you were following your attractions, were you not?
Yeah.
Okay, well then the next time you have an attraction, you're the same person. So your attraction is probably wrong, just like it was all the other times. If you didn't change yourself at all since the last time. In other words, the relationship ended. I didn't do anything to work on my mind or my conscience or myself. The only thing that's happened since the last relationship ended is I've been on the lookout for the new one. So therefore, I haven't changed my mind at all. I'm really looking for somebody that's going to be just like the person I had before, but they won't look like it at first, so that I get involved with them so that we can learn the lesson later. So it's going to look like it's cool in the beginning because that's the only way I get into it so I can have the lesson.
Yeah.
So how do you know that you're not attracting the same thing that you've always attracted? Well, you have a conversation with the person. Before you fall up on that physical chemistry and all that physical attraction that you feel in that picture. When I'm talking about a person, you can apply that to anything. Money, job, career, the same thing applies. Then if you talk to them and you listen to them, and instead of trying to be an interesting person, you be an interested person when you're with them, then they will share with you their goals and aspirations and their purposes and what it is they want. You as a loving being would be listening to them in terms of how could you support that in a way that would not be a sacrifice for you. How can I help you in a way that won't be a sacrifice for me is the mantra of any conscious being. I'm willing to do anything for you I possibly can as long as I'm not sacrificing. Because if I'm sacrificing, I'm offering you resentment and hatred. Because I don't really want to do what I'm doing. So the first rule is if I'm going to do something for you, I want it to be what I really want to do so you can feel the love behind my action. But if I'm doing what I think I ought to, should have, got to do, but I really don't want to do it, what's happening behind my action is you feeling some fear and some resentment and some anger. So I'm really not helpful to you at all. I'm the worst person in the world to do anything with you because I'm the one that feels like I'm making a sacrifice to do it. So you certainly don't want me to hold you. You don't want me to go out with you. So what about, and so whatever you want, all you got to do is have a conversation, the ones you're not afraid to have it, and listen to the person, and you'll know pretty much what at least they have the same purpose that you have. And then if you decide because the physical attraction is too great and your desire to suffer may be stronger, and you decide to go ahead and have that experience, then you can take 100% responsibility for choosing to have that experience, even though you knew it might not be the best one. And if it didn't turn out right, you could release it without having grievances toward that person or grievances toward yourself because you took responsibility because you knew it wasn't the best thing for you at the very beginning, but you just had to have it. Because some things you just have to have. I don't know about you, but I've had that experience where I didn't know whether it was good for me, but I sure had to have it. And so, but you take responsibility for it. But no, that's not the way the ego works. It wants to make a wrong choice and then blame the other person for what happened, and then try to change the person into the right choice. You know what I'm saying? You heard me say that I don't go to basketball games, right? But you still want to be with me for your social life. But you love basketball. Now, what you're going to do is spend all your time trying to get me to go to a basketball game with you, and then getting upset with me when I don't want to go to it. But you knew that I didn't like basketball to begin with. But the part of you that didn't want to have happiness had to hook up with somebody that was different from you. So how do I get out of a dilemma like that? I start right here, right now, valuing my peace above anything else. I start right here, right now, being completely honest about what I want. Okay, so I can say, well, what I really want is to have the freedom to be who I am in every moment and to feel innocent about what that means. And then you say that to a person, and let's say I'm going out with somebody and I say that to them. Now, the person that couldn't handle that because they need to have this like complete focus of you being their everything and them being your everything, and let's say if it's a woman, she's supposed to be my only experience of anything feminine for the rest of my natural life. She's supposed to represent all the rest of the whole female gender on earth. I can't go out to lunch with anybody else. I can't talk to anybody else. I can't go to a movie with anybody else. I can't walk through she's the only woman I'm supposed to give my attention to for the rest of my natural life. It just makes me want to cry. I'm having a hard time getting this out of my mouth. Why would you even want to set yourself up to even have that kind of responsibility put on you if you're in your right mind? Why would you even want to set it up? Why would you be that insecure that you needed somebody to absolutely worship you in order for you to believe you have any kind of value? And if you are that way, why can't you love yourself enough to ask for it? Just simply ask for it. Say, right now, where I am, the way I feel right now, I need to have the experience of a one-to-one relationship where the person focuses on me pretty much exclusively, and we're going to use each other's primary learning partners to the exclusion of everybody else right now. That's what I need in order for me to feel secure and for me to feel safe. I deserve to have it. It's okay. It's part of my learning how to love everybody. Just ask for it.
Wow.
And then you can have it the way that you think you want it. If you are not the one that decides on who it should be, because you don't even know who they are. That's why you're hunting. So what you need is for that person to find you. Better yet, be sent to you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
By the part of you that actually loves you. What would be the first sign that they might be the person? You won't be afraid of them. When they ask you for your phone number, you go. It's like, you know, like the fastest gun in the West. You know what I'm saying? It's like that smartphone come out so fast. Oh, you don't even say nothing. They just walk up with this smartphone. Here it is. They already know what you want before you even ask for it. They're like, oh yeah, hey, I know you want it. You didn't even ask for it. Here it is. You know, how can I tell when a woman's not the right woman for me? She don't want me. I'm having to convince her to do anything. Hug me, kiss me, talk to me, make love to me. I gotta convince somebody that loves me to love me? That's insane, but I was so insane. So that's what it's telling me in this first paragraph. You know, if I'm going to develop trust, I need to make a shift internally to the part of me that loves me instead of the part of me that fears me and hates me. And that if I don't love myself enough, I'm going to have circumstances and situations come up in my life that's going to make me shift to the point that I love myself the way that I should. And no matter what happens to me from this day forward, from this moment forward, when I leave this class today, I'm going to try to remember and forgive myself when I don't remember, to say these changes are always helpful, so that I can go to the next stage. I'm ready to go to the next stage. I want to go to the next stage. And I'm not going to get there by reading without practicing and applying. But I find it's easier for me to love people who I like. So I try to be around people I like. I think most of my work is done. It's easier to appreciate somebody you really appreciate. But I used to think it was about finding the people I had the problems with, seeing if I could get to the point that I really liked them and I could change my mind about them. So I was actually spending all my time on people who didn't express love to me, and I was essentially ignoring everyone that did.
Or you were blind to it, huh?
I'm completely blind, because the part of me that doesn't love me is always has me looking where it is lacking. What is lacking? And it has like a freaky kind of attraction to it. You know what I'm saying? You almost feel like it's weird. It's like you'll find yourself being just insane about people who don't appreciate you. And you'll be trying your best to get their appreciation, or you'll be after them more than anybody. So the first stage is to recognize what you're doing, because when you recognize it, that's the first step to letting the pattern go. And the fact that you all even were here today to hear me say this, which you ordered it, then that means you have changed your mind.
Yeah.
That you are ready to receive what you want. So much so that you manifested this handsome Debona black dude to remind you of how cool you are. You understand what I'm saying? Now, will you support this thought that I represent, or will you keep supporting the thoughts that other people represent, that you're not enough, you're doing it wrong, you need to change, something's wrong with you, you're not okay? Is that going to be the energy that you're going to give all your time to?
No.
Or will you give your energy more to the people in your life now who say, I appreciate you, I see what's cool about you, you know, you really deserve to be happy. You know, because the part of you that doesn't love you is going to try to either get you away from those people, or you would say, they just don't turn me on. Which would be the other thing. So I say, you don't need negative external circumstances to get you to make an internal shift of the choice for your peace. I say that you deserve to be happy now. Now, to believe means, will you side with that idea? The Course says to believe means to side with. And that made a big difference to me. Not to be credulous, not whether or not what I'm saying is something you can believe. Do you want to side with the idea of your freedom, your abundance, your innocence, your right relationships, your freedom? Are you willing to side with that idea? Are you willing to go, that's an idea I'd like to see happen, even if I don't know how it's going to happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So by me asking for that, then I see who wants it, right?
Yeah,
so all of a sudden you're in the room and I was like, okay, this person, I want it. Poof! Then I know who to join with to have the thing happen faster than the person who don't even know if they want to have it, don't get excited about having it, want to fight you about it. So you can just ask. And if you're not attached to the outcome, then you will see it manifest before your very eyes. It will blow you away how quick it'll show up when you can ask for it because you believe you deserve it, but you've already decided you're going to have peace whether it happens or not. I'm going to have peace whether it happens or not. Because that's what you deserve, peace, no matter what you believe.
Right.
So would you acknowledge yourself, Holy Spirit? So I'm going to stop right here. You guys can clean it up. The Course says it can be but your gratitude you earn. Think about that. You know, be thankful that there's a part of you that loves you so much that it wants you to have happiness even if you think you don't deserve it. So let's do the love offering.
So good to have you back.
Going on inside of me and in my mind and in my being and in my life and in myself. And because of that, my consciousness is shifting like this all the time. And so when my consciousness changes, the people who come to my class change. So in every area of my life right now, people are changing because I'm changing. So it's not, so I see everything as perfect, you know, whether it's 5 people or whether it's 50 people. I realize that everybody that comes here is sent, and that it's also, we're on the same level of consciousness, that we're all going through the same shift at the same time in our own way. So, so right now in my life, I'm really frankly amazed anybody's in it.
Yeah.
Really, with how much internal shift is going on inside of me right now. Wow. And so in the end, I end up having to make a stand in terms of how, because I deal a lot with the personal relationship issue. You know, it's good dealing with groups of people because, you know, you hug each other and you shoot that good energy and you don't see each other anymore. But in my one-to-one personal relationships, integrating all this stuff in those is much more of a challenge to do. And what I realized was that until you take a stand, an uncompromising stand for what it is you are going to be about, you'll never attract somebody into your life that will accept you for who you are. And I realized I was giving mixed messages to my experience because of a fear of being rejected. You know, because it seems like if you talk about love and extension and freedom, then people run from you. You know, but I realized the only people that were running from me were reflecting back to me that I was afraid of what I was asking for myself. And so therefore I had to become clear that I just want to be able to say I would never want to form a relationship, let's say, to a woman, okay, who would say to me, you can no longer be friends with Cheryl. I would never form a relationship with someone that would tell me to exclude people that I love in order to be in a relationship with them. But that's what people expect you to do in most cases in traditional relationships in the world. So I know what I'm looking for within myself and outside myself. Now, I know what kind of relationship or ships I'm looking for in my life right now. Somebody who understands that love is expansive and inclusive, that it's okay to appreciate more than one person in your life and to value more than one person and to love more than one person. And who values innocence. That it's not about guilt, it's not about control, it's not about fear, it's not about attack. You know, and all you have to do is take a stand for what it is. The Course says something radical in there. It says, you know, salvation is no compromise. Jesus talks about you don't compromise, stop compromising. And I thought that was interesting because that's the main thing you're taught to do in relationships, is to compromise. Of course, Mary said, don't you dare compromise, because that just means you're going to accept a little bit of what you want. That's all a compromise means. I'm going to accept a little bit of what I want. And he says that true power and love and happiness doesn't show up until you say, I want it all. You know, I want to totally experience peace and joy and happiness within myself.
Yes.
Completely, totally. And then you don't, and then once you make your stand, then the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, it will begin to manifest and draw the people and situations and circumstances that will reflect that back to you. But it will not happen as long as you're not 100% saying to yourself you deserve to be loved and you deserve to be accepted for who you are. Who can love me for who I am? Who can love you for who you are? They just won't show up until you do. And I've heard that a million, trillion, quadrillion, quadrillion times, and I've been going through external circumstances to get me to get to the point that I make this internal shift.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for that. I feel like just in the last few days that I've made a complete shift in my attitude about relationship. Going that trip abroad had a big effect on that. And so I know that my entire life is about to change in some kind of big, radical, physical way for me. I don't know what that's going to mean, but I know I can't change in my physical reality, not change, and I know I've changed. You know, I want to love more. I want to be a means for love more. I'm tired of being like a little scared child trying to grab one person and strangle the life out of them so that I can feel good. I'm tired of that. I don't want to do that no more. I'm sick of that game. Anybody still want to play it? More power to you. And I see this innocent. But I want some love I can't lose. I want some love that's real, that's not conditional anymore in my life. So damn, I got to step up. And that's what I want for you. That's all I want for you. And so you're getting ready to go out into the lab now. And so whatever happens today, whatever changes you go through this week, whatever that happens to be, everybody's watching you.
Why? Try to focus.
Whatever you go through today, whatever happens today, whatever happens this week, remind yourself that those changes are always helpful. That these changes are helpful. That thing you're going through that you were worried about, tell yourself this is helpful. It might not feel good. I'm not saying it's going to necessarily feel good, but it's helpful. And if you're having an incredible day and it's wonderful, that's a change that's helpful too. So when I say changes are helpful, I'm not talking about it always got to be some crappy stuff. I'm talking about some cool changes, you know. And Kim, happy birthday. You just come tomorrow. I know you got a birthday coming up, right? Do you have a birthday right around tomorrow? That's right. That's right. See, so happy continuation day. That's what I like to call it. The Course in Miracles says that birth isn't a beginning; it's a continuation, and that's what we're doing. We're continuing, and I just want us to continue to enjoy. So I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
I hope I see you again. You are welcome. Let me put that.
Yeah.